Bless me, Mother, for I have sinned. It has been 6 years since my last confession. And
Mom? Mom, look!
I'm not one of the 18. But they let me wear this pretty dress anyway. I think mostly because they had to, because Mom got on the phone and said some no-no words to them when they were going to take it away from me and give it to Mary Beth, just like they did last year. Last year, Mary Beth was supposed to be the angel. Mary Beth is the angel every year. But she was sick, so they asked me to do it because that year I had a clean face and we had money for a nice school dress, not like the usual handout ones from the Monsignor Lenato, and because I was on my best behavior, not because they felt bad. Mom was so excited to see me lead the procession and crown the Virgin Mother that she got me a special haircut and new shoes, and she even let me put powder on my face. Mary Beth miraculously felt better right before the ceremony. And they let her come right before and be the angel. When she was walking down that aisle in that angel gown with the stupid curled hair and her new shoes, I tried to imagine my mother's face. They promised me next year, Andy. Andy, next year, sweetie. So, this year when Sister Hillary said I couldn't be the angel because I had a messy face from the brownies at lunch. And so what if they'd have to let the waist out a little bit? Mom said, she got on the phone and she said, oh no! And here I am today. Well, it reminds me of the time that Grace Gerama, the big mouth from the South, got to the whole school over the loudspeaker. The whole school, because she won that year's talent contest. The same year, I also sang a certain ditty. Sister Hillary would pick one of the boys first, they said. Not like it would make much difference, they said. Well, I would show them with good faith and poise, just like my mother taught me. I chose a song that's very near and dear to my heart. A very personal number. You want to hear it?
Yes.
God loves the poor, God loves the weak, God loves the weary, and God loves the meek. But does God love little fat girls too? God loves those who hunger and thirst. But what about those who look like they'll burst? Oh, does God love little fat girls too? We know that Jesus loved the little children. I think that all the kids he knew within. Because when I look at all the pictures in my Bible study books, it's clear that famine and fasting were in. if I was taller. I've got a good face and a nice personality. We know that Jesus loved all the sinners. He even went to dinner with a thief. Well, I eat so much. If Jesus came to lunch, he'd be staring in disbelief. Oh, does God love little fat girls too? Yes, does God love little fat girls like me? Well, after that year, they started having auditions for the talent show. Sister Hillary tried to make it up to me with the one thing this sweet and pudgy face said it couldn't resist. Blueberry pie. Now, normally Sister Hillary would have been golden. This is, after all, the little girl who went to the snack shack every day after lunch for 2 bags of Chewy Runs. No, it was Charleston Chews, 2 bars of Charleston Chews. That's 480 calories and 56 grams of sugar every day. But, well, can I tell you a secret? I don't want to ruin my reputation, but I hate pie, especially blueberry. But what was I gonna do? Here was Sister Hillary feeling so good about herself, thinking she's raising my spirits. And she wants to watch me eat every last bite to see how much I enjoy it. How good it would make her feel. Bless us, O Lord, for these thy gifts which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. Well, to be honest, I don't know if I want to be the angel anymore. And I mean, I know Mom said she worked real hard to get us here, but I think next year, I'd rather be the priest. I mean, think about it. Being the priest would be so cool because you get to touch all the food and lay your hands on the sinners and you even get to talk to Jesus in person. But I'll never be a priest. I'm not one of the 18. Well, instead, I'll just have to dream about it. Or remember it all. Instead of Jesus, I'll talk to the ghosts. And third grade, Sister Hillary, quite vivid, quite vivid. Aisle, I just went straight rose good on the aisle. Hot, heart, hard, hot, hot. And third grade was Sister Hillary, who I remember quite vividly. She was a rather large, round nun, kind of tough. I think she kind of liked me, so I wasn't bothered by her too much, but she was very strict with the boys. I do remember when she would come walking down the aisle, because our desks were in straight rows, when she'd come walking down the aisle, she didn't quite fit, so everybody's desk sort of got shoved off to the side. Well, the day that Joseph, there was Joseph Barris, the day that Joseph Barris died, I can remember sitting at my desk here, and on the inside, I just wrote, I love Joseph with one of those little hearts around it. Not because I liked him in that way or anything, but just because, you know, I was thinking of him and I missed him. And, well, in those days, they still had CCD for the kids who were Catholic but didn't go to Catholic school, so that they could make their first communion and all. And they would come in and use our classrooms at night. Well, one morning, I came in and written all over the top on my desk was, I love Joseph. I heart Joseph. I heart Jesse. I love Joseph. I love Jesse. No, I love Joseph with those hearts around it and everything. And I was mortified. Because, of course, you expected to keep a very neat desk. And in the morning, here comes Miss Fantozzi, no, Sister Hillary. In the morning, here comes Sister Hillary down the aisle. And she sees my desk and makes me stand up. And she tips the whole desk over. Now, you have to imagine this. In those days, the chair was still attached to the desk. So it made this awful... Well, I never felt so bad for loving somebody.
And in third grade, I had Sister Hillary, who I remember quite vividly. She was kind of a large, round nun, kind of tough. I think maybe she kind of liked me because she didn't really bother me too much. But the boys she was very strict with. I do remember one thing though, when she used to walk down the aisles, because our desks were in a straight row, that as she walked down the aisles, everybody's desk kind of got shoved to the side. So Sister Hillary had some strict rules about the classroom, and one of them was that we keep our desks very neat. And you have to picture these desks that the seat was connected to the desk, so it was all one piece. And Joseph Barris, unfortunately, could never do anything right in Sister Hillary's eyes. And she walked over to his desk one day to check our desks and see if we had them neat. And of course, Joseph's was not neat. So she proceeded to try to teach him a lesson, and she flipped the desk over while he was still sitting in the chair. So he landed on the floor. And unfortunately, he started to cry, which did not make her happy. But I think everyone else in the classroom was afraid to either make a sound or look around. And all I can think of is I'm sure Joseph Barrett hasn't forgotten this, seeing that it actually happened to him, and I just witnessed it, and I still remember it to this day.
I don't remember it. I don't want to see ghosts. I often think that if I wanted to, I could see them everywhere. Like if I just opened my eyes, they would be everywhere. And this terrifies me. Probably because I grew up the pansy middle brother reliant on everyone else. But I think that if I look with other people, that I could be able to handle it. So, is that okay? Okay. So I'm walking down this road that I remember surrounded by a cornfield that is actually an Italian working class neighborhood. I kissed her neck here with tongue, and we watched ourselves played out on these massive billboards over the trenches of some old war. We walk into a school that I thought was hers, but is actually mine. We're wearing the same clothes. Not as in like the same outfit, but actually the same polo shirt and skirt and Mary Janes. We walk into a story where she remembers roller skating, but I correct her and let her know that we were actually sucking dick. What I'm trying to say is that my mother shows me what I've forgotten. All of those ghosts that are constantly wandering my memories aimlessly. The same ghosts that I walk out with those memories to this day, this room tomorrow, carrying God knows what, like corpses, looking for some of us girls were chosen because we were nice and well behaved. I can remember I had to go with this girl I didn't know very well. Well, I was very quiet, so I didn't know many people. And we had to go down to the basement of a convent to do some cleaning or something. Apparently, an orderly basement was more important than adding the number 8 to our times tables. Well, when we went down there, we found these huge jars of cherries and nuts and, oh, I almost went wild. But we also found these roller skates. Well, that was how they had fun in those days. They weren't allowed to leave the convent, so they would just entertain themselves inside, and late at night, they'd go down to the basement and put on these skates, and they would just go around and around and around. So this girl and I, of course, put on our skates, these skates, and we were going around having a ball. Oh, we were terrible. Okay, now I don't know how this next part happened, but we must have been holding on to each other for balance or something, and we must have touched one of those special parts. Well, you know, those parts you don't really learn about till later, if ever. And well, before we knew it, well, this is getting very erotic. I'm sorry for that. But well, I'll just skip to the part where we took each other's clothes off. Or did we take our own clothes off? Oh, I don't remember. But this girl, gosh, was her name Paula? I don't know. But, well, she wasn't quite right down there. She had a small sort of, well, not a full one, a full penis. But sort of this like small sort of penis, or something in between. I don't think I knew what it was then. I just knew that it wasn't like me, like mine, like what I had. And, well, Lord knows how you know what to do with things like this. It must be instinct, or in your blood, or something, because before I knew it, a small sort of penis ended up in my mouth. My throat was as dry as a nun's vagina. We did not have sex education in those days. We didn't even hear Sister Hillary come in. Well, once I knew this boy named Jesse, and I can remember that his breath smelled like old underwear and cigarettes when he called me fag. Fag is a good word to do a breath test on because of the I remember I thought his breath smelled sexy. He always wore this light blue underwear that was tight around the shaft of his penis. And he had one of those penises that always filled the underwear, like those Calvin Klein models I see everywhere. Like it's suspended in the fabric or something. Not one of those small little penises that sort of falls and disappears, leaving the fabric just like hanging. My crotch looks like my grandmother's after she lost all the weight. Like it's missing something. So sometimes I feel sad for what's there and not there at the same time. Well, sometimes at night when I'm touching myself and my body falls away into those millions of little like pins or pixels or something, and then they float up off the bed and they bounce around on the floor until they collect into the image of him, and I call myself fag just so that to keep him there for one more instant. I check to see if he likes it. When we were little boys, we rode the bus together, and he was an altar server, and I wanted to be an altar server so bad. Not because he was one, but just because. And, well, sometimes I feel like maybe the way that his sorrow was meant for me, like the priest missed the mark and fingered the wrong little boy. Because actually there are many little boys who might like that, and not get the priest in so much trouble. Or at least maybe not feel quite so damaged by it. Well, not at first, at least. Well, anyway, I knew that I wanted to give myself to God. I just didn't know how yet. But I knew that it should be hard, and I knew that it had to feel bad. Well, he disappeared after that. Like when someone is taken from you by the water and just drifts away, and you can still see them in the distance moving and trying to scream something for you to hear, but all you get is this graceful dance. Because of course, no matter how violently you thrash underwater, the water has this way of ushering your limbs into this graceful dance. It loves the way you breathe heaven. And I think that this must be like what it's like when someone you love very much disappears into a great crowd around you, and you can feel that they're right there next to you, but you can't for the life of you pick them out or pick them up. And so you just have to wait for years and years for their millions of shards of light or whatever to come together in that perfect way that makes them, them, and you. And well, maybe it's more of a feeling. I could have to wait many lifetimes to find you again and hold together those blurry, illuminated, vibrating pixels. And well, I would call myself back just to keep him there for one more instant. And I wonder if he would still like it after all this. My mouth is still full of all the beautiful things I never got to say to him. My mom just started texting. So this morning she texted me this joke. It goes like this. It goes, what do you call a priest that dresses like a nun? Does anybody know? No. A transistor. Well, I've been thinking a lot recently about what my nun name should be. And I'm not actually exactly sure how nuns pick their names, but I think that it's like they pick a saint that they feel devoted to or that they want to sort of emulate the characteristics of. So I've been thinking about what mine should be. And I was thinking maybe like Sister Conquergood. Or as my mom would say, Sister Conquergood. I think that one might suit me for a little bit, maybe. Mom?